And we're back. I'm going to compare and contrast three of my favorite game developers, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, and Insomniac, over the last three generations. If you're not interested in this, skip to the next part, or sit through it and watch. Might not be too bad. So we're going to start back where they all originated, on the PS1 generation, back on the PlayStation 1, the Nintendo 64, and one of the Segas was out back then. Was it the Saturn or the Dreamcast? The Dreamcast. It's out back then. So yeah, Insomniac and Naughty Dog existed back then. They were best known for their games Crash Bandicoot, Naughty Dog, and Spyro the Dragon, Insomniac. They were both platformers. One you played as Dragon, one you played as a Bandicoot, in case you couldn't tell. Oh no, not these. So yeah, Spyro and Crash. Out of that generation, I'd have to say Spyro won. If only because Spyro was the one I kind of grew up on. Crash was introduced into my life later. Still a great series back when Naughty Dog owned it. They shouldn't have ever lost the rights, but they kind of sold it. Oh, what is this? This chick's funny. So move on to the next generation, the PlayStation 2. They are both back, and Sucker Punch is introduced. Naughty Dog has the Jak and Daxter series. The series now is comprised of six games, 4 made for the PS2, 1 made for the PSP, and 1 made for both the PS2 and the PSP. They have rumors of a Jak and Daxter HD collection coming out for the PS3 in January. While we do not have many facts about it, it is certainly something I will be buying the day it comes out. Jak and Daxter is a great series. They're all like platformer kings at this point. These were like the 3 platformers that ruled my life. Jak and Daxter was one of them. It was the least prominent. In fact, I never actually finished any of the games in the series, and I never actually played Jak 3. I own 4 of them, but I've never completed any of them. Let's move on to Insomniac, the other giant from the first generation of PlayStation. They are back with Ratchet & Clank, by far the most prominent in my childhood. The most prominent series out of any in my childhood. I love Ratchet & Clank with a passion. The series has a ton of games. There's 4 made for the PS2, 2 made for the PSP, and 3 made for the PS. I forgot to restart the recordings. Alright, okay, I guess it's working again. So where was I? Talking about Sly Cooper. Best games of that generation. Even though I'm not nostalgia crazy for it, I wish I was, but I'm not. It already has an HD collection out. There is no word of a Ratchet & Clank HD collection out, although there needs to be, like, badly. And it is all but confirmed that a Jak and Daxter HD collection will be available this January. I'll eat my words if it's not, but it's gonna be. Moving on to this generation, my least favorite out of the 3 generations for these 3 developers. If you ask me, it's a shame that they kinda became what they are now. Except for Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog definitely upped the ante with Uncharted, my favorite this generation series. Uncharted is a third-person shooter / platformer. It was outstanding. It's definitely story-based. It has a great story. It's oddly reminiscent of Indiana Jones. And in fact, it's what an Indiana Jones video game should be. I'm just gonna put that out there. It's a great, great game. You're a treasure hunter named Nathan Drake. And, I mean, you hunt treasures. You fight the bad guys, you stop terrorists, all the while being awesome. It's pretty great. The third one comes out in November. I have the collector's edition pre-ordered, $100 paid off, baby. 1st of November. I'm running to GameStop, and that is the day my social life ends. I'm just gonna say it now. I will have no life once that game comes out. That will be all the fun that I will have, and I will platinum it. And then I'll go back and platinum the first two, because I apparently have yet to do that. In fact, I thought I had, but I guess I did not do that. Oh, come on, moles. Let's move on to Sucker Punch. They're kind of in the middle this generation. They're definitely a letdown from Sly Cooper, but not nearly where Insomniac Games is now. I miss you, Insomniac. So, they made Infamous and Infamous 2. You probably don't know this, but Infamous is a game where you play as a superhero. You play as Cole McGrath, and due to a freak accident that's actually ends up not being an accident, but I don't want to spoil anything, you gain superpowers. You can control electricity. You can shoot electric bolts from your hands. You can hover using static electricity. These are outstanding games too. They don't compare to Sly Cooper, but in their own respect, they're pretty amazing. The second one was better than the first. The first one I got for free as a download from the PlayStation Welcome Back package thing back in the outage. Back in those horrible dark days. Y'all remember that. And now we get to Insomniac. Insomniac came with Resistance. Resistance Fall of Man, a launch title on the PlayStation 3. If you're following me, that's about 06 now. November-ish of 06. November 20th-ish of 06. This is just off the top of my head, too. I am that much of a nerd. I do remember the general area it came out. It is a first-person shooter. The first Resistance game was outstanding. I just picked them all up. The first two, at least. The third just came out last month. I just picked up the first two. And oh my gosh, the first Resistance was amazing. It was a story-driven game. You're Nate Hale, you gotta fight the aliens, you end up getting infected by the Chimeran virus. Oh man, it's outstanding. Had a great story to it. You got to really know and love the characters. And by the time some major deaths happened, you were pretty upset and you wanted to take out those aliens. And trust me, you did. Now the first game ended, credits rolled, and then a little cliffhanger teaser came up. Fast forward to 08. We have Resistance 2. I'm not sure what their plan was. I think they were running off the success of Call of Duty, and they were pretty much running the story out of the game and turning it into your average blood and guts first-person shooter. I'm still in this one. It might get better, but I'm a few hours in, and I'm still not a big fan. The third one is supposed to go back to the roots of the series. It adds health packs as opposed to recharging health, which I thought was a great aspect of the first game. I mean, the first one was just so great. Hopefully the third one will live up to my expectations, but the second one has fallen short. Oh well, you know, they can't all be winners, but this generation is Naughty Dog's generation. I didn't think about this. Every one of the three companies that I've been talking about they've all won one generation. Assuming none of them get bought out. Oh yeah, we did get an announcement of Insomniac's next title. It's called Overstrike, I believe, or something along those lines. And it is going to be a PS3 and 360 title. So you Xbox players, you guys have something to look forward to. It's going to be a treat. It's also a first-person shooter, but it's taking it more to the story-based, light-hearted tone, as opposed to the dark, gory tone of Resistance. Got a magical bean. I don't even know what she's talking about now. I need fertile soil and magical or mystical water or something along those lines. I've recorded 3 parts tonight. Yay, leaves me with just a couple to go. You know what? Announcement. I'm not uploading on weekends. Last Saturdays. Yeah, that was my last weekend upload. Sorry about that, guys. But it's gonna make my life easier. Oh, hey. I have a red berry. That guy's red. Let's give him a red berry. Pretending I don't know what to do. Red berry. Green acres. Oh my gosh, why did I think of that? Okay, whatever. See you guys later. On weekdays.